sleep. You ascend to immaterial realms. You receive divine knowledge, immaterial. The soul converts that knowledge into pictures. The soul went to immaterial realms which were timeless and placeless. The soul converts it into pictures. Since those realms are timeless, you may, for example, go 150 years back in one of the wars in America, for example. You may go back 2,000 years, it's a timeless realm. When you convert where you went and saw there's a Hindu family there. You go even back, time of, let's say, Prophet Noah. It's possible to go back in a timeless realm. But then, where they confuse it, they think they were in that war, or they were in their physical self, was with Prophet Noah. And they bring the concept of reincarnation, which is impossible. We'll speak more about that tomorrow. That's impossible. It's not them. They just travel. They just can't figure out what they're seeing. They think it was them who did all this. Otherwise, it can't be reincarnation. Just because they've seen so many things from the past, they think it was them who did that, this, and different things. Or sometimes you can go into the future. It's a timeless realm. When you convert it into pictures, you see things which happen in the future. Deja vu experiences are like that. But in deja vu experiences, we have it momentarily. Some people can see the future not only for a moment, for moments, for days. Now let's say someone saw the future for a month, and they saw, for example, they saw me sinning. Does that knowledge force me to sin? No. They just acquired that knowledge as a result of their ascension. And when they converted that divine knowledge into pictures by a faculty of the soul, they see these things. Sometimes when you receive that divine data from immaterial realms and the soul converts it, it's a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will give birth to this, or this will happen to this tribe. Or sometimes it's a message, tell the people to practice in such a manner. The Quran is a result of the Mi'raj of the Holy Prophet. This Mi'raj is open to us too. Prophethood is divided into two according to Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh. There's the legislative prophethood that ended with our Holy Messenger. But there's a non-legislative type where you can be in communication with the angels. That's also possible. You won't bring a new Sharia, it's not legislative. But the doors, seeing angels, if you remember the first night, it's a way of communicating with Allah. We have it in Islam. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمْ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. This is part of our religion. You can't get there. You're not bothered. You're not making an effort. That's something else. Don't limit religion because of your own limits. This is open for everyone, male or female. This type is open to everyone until the last day. So this questioning of the angels, we have to see what angels are. They can't be physical things. Because something which is immaterial can't be converted to something physical. Philosophically, that's not possible. They're mutually exclusive. And then that person, physical creature, has a soul of its own. And then this question of angels, when they question you, for example, are there physical voices to be heard? Of course not. You put a recorder in every grave. The next day, you'll hear nothing. Nothing to do with the physical realm anymore, from Barzakh onwards. It's a different realm. It's a Yawmul Akhir. Yawm, not a day, means manifestation. It's another manifestation. Yawmuddin, Deen will be manifested. Wherever you see Yawm in the Quran, look at it as being its literal definition, not the 24-hour day. It's a manifestation. Allah created in 6 manifestations. We have to see what those manifestations were. But don't look at the 24-hour day. Allah says that this tafsir bil-ra'i, that personal tafsir that we do, is when, it's his interpretation of it. Since we're so occupied with the physical realm, we interpret religion with worldly concepts just because we're so used to it. Sometimes we don't. Yadullah, the hand of Allah, alhamdulillah, many Muslims, they don't believe that Allah has a physical hand, but some do. So this has to be understood with careful reasoning. Then we speak of the Sirat. Oh, there's just one tradition, not tradition. Sheikh Mufid and Faith Kashani, two very important scholars in Shiism, in relation to the questioning of the angels, in relation to Nakeer and Munkar, Faith Kashani says, Innal Munkara, this angel Munkar that we speak of, Ibaratun, is defined as An Jumlatil A'mal Munkara. The angel Munkar is the collective sum of your vice actions. It's all to do with embodiment of actions. Allati fa'alaha al-insan fi dunya. Those actions which man did in this world. The sum collection of all those vicious actions, that's munkar. Those actions which man did in this world, fatamathalat fil akhirah, then it will be manifested and appear in the hereafter bisuratin munasaba laha, in a manner which is on a par with that action. You steal, for example, it will be manifested as mice. You sting people, hurt people, snakes. You devour people's property, tigers or lions or whatever. All these are depending on what the actions were. That's the pressure of the grave. It's going to be difficult when the I, your spirit, is in association with the body, which isn't a human physical phenotype anymore. It's snakes now, pigs, wolves. It's going to cause a lot of suffering. Otherwise, the pressure of the grave isn't a physical pressure. Nothing is pushing upon anything. Then we speak of the Sirat. Is it a physical bridge? Then we see some people say yes. Because they're so drowned in this physical realm. They interpret everything physically. Sirat, yes, it's a physical bridge, some say. And it's the same for all, some add. But is it really physical? When will it be built if it's physical? By who? Does it exist now? Is it outside the soul, or is it a dimension of the soul? Allah says it is the soul, the Sirat. And he uses this verse of the Quran to demonstrate it. I'm not saying he's proving it or anything, but he's using this verse. La yadurrukum ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O you who believe, alaykum anfusakum, observe your souls. Observe them, pay attention to it. La yadurrukum man dhalla idha ihtadaytum. One who strays won't be able to make you deviate if you're guided. Alaykum anfusakum, observe your souls. Be guided. Guidance is a faculty of the soul. The soul has to elevate. The soul has to acquire Allah's attributes. Alaykum anfusakum, observe it. Because if it's guided, no one can make you deviate. See? You're building the Sirat from moment to moment right now in this world. Now there's this tradition I want to mention. Where إِنَّهُ كَانَ قَائِدًا مَعَ أَصْحَابِهِ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ. The Holy Prophet was sitting in the mosque with his companions. فَسَمِعُوا حَدَّةً عَظِيمًا. All of a sudden they heard a loud noise. فَارْتَاءُوا. The companions got scared. فَقَالَ. The Holy Prophet said, أَتَعْرِفُونَ مَا هَذِهِ الْحَدَّةِ. Sorry if I'm reciting this a bit quickly. Just I want to fit in as much as possible before. I leave. The Holy Prophet said, do you know what this loud sound was? I mean, this may be showing that it wasn't something physical. If it was physical, then everyone would have heard it and they would have guessed as to what it would be. قالوا, they said, Allahu wa rasuluhu a'lam, Allah and His Messenger know better. قال, now the Holy Prophet is now explaining what this loud sound was. Hijron, it was a stone. ألغي من أعلى جهنم منذ 70 سنة. It was a stone that was thrown from the top of hell 70 years ago. If this was a physical sound, it means hell is in this physical realm. For us to have heard this stone which was thrown from the top of hell, a physical hell, 70 years ago. وَالْآنَ وَصَلَ إِلَىٰ قَعْرِهَا. Right now it hit the bottom of hell. You see, if it's a physical sound, the hell must be physical. That bottom of hell is physical, and the stone was physical, and the stone hit something physical, it made a physical sound. If it was something physical. But was it? فَكَانَ مِنْ وُصُولِهِ إِلَىٰ قَعْرِهَا وَسُقُوطِهِ فِيهَا هَذِهِ الْحَدَّةِ. And this sound was its going through and hitting the bottom of hell. That was the sound. فَمَا فَرَغَ مِنْ كَلَامِهِ إِلَّا وَالصَّرَاخُ فِي دَارِ مُنَافِقٍ مِنَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ. Just about the Holy Prophet ended his speech, cries were heard from the residence of a munafiq, of a hypocrite. قَدْ مَاتَ, the hypocrite had just died. وَكَانَ أُمْرُهُ 70 سَنَةً. And the hypocrite who had just died had died at the age of 70. فَقَالَ Allahu Akbar. The Holy Messenger said, Allahu Akbar. فَأَلِمَتْ الْعُلَمَاءُ الصَّحَابَةِ. The knowledgeable companions of the Holy Prophet knew now. They got the meaning of what has just happened. أَنَّ هَذَا الْحَجَرَ هُوَ ذَلِكَ الْمُنَافِقِ. Those who were alim amongst the companions, they had this gnosis. They understood what's happening. Now it all fell into shape. Now they know what the stone was. They know that the stone in al-hajar huwa ذَلِكَ الْمُنَافِقِ. The stone was the munafiq. That stone which was thrown 70 years ago was the munafiq. So it can't be something physical now. That stone was an embodiment of the actions of the munafiq happening in the hereafter. I'll explain that in a minute. وَأَنَّهُ مُنْذُ خَلَقَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. And since Allah created that person from birth, يَهْوِي فِي جَهَنَّمْ, he was always in hell. I'll explain that too. From birth he was in hell. وَبَلَغَ أُمْرُهُ 70 سَنَةً. His age reached 70 years of age. فَلَمَّا مَاتَ حَسَلَ فِي غَعْرِهَا. When he reached the bottom, he died. Death arose when he reached the bottom of hell. This is one of those incredible traditions. First of all, when he reached the bottom of hell, he died. Remember a definition of natural death. When you become perfect in vice in relation to the non-believers. You can't commit more perfection now with this body in vice. Then you die. It hit the bottom of hell. That was his limit of perfection in evil. He died. The soul became independent from the physical body now. That's one meaning. The munafiq was the stone. If a stone is here, and let's say I am a munafiq here, I am not the stone if that stone is physical. I am something, I'm Farrokh, that is a stone. You can't say, I am the stone. So what does it mean when the tradition says, the stone was the munafiq? It's because of tajassumul a'mal. Your actions in this world will be embodied in a semi-immaterial realm, Barzakh onwards. your actions create your bodies of the hereafter. Bad actions, bad bodies. Good actions, good bodies. But that is in unity with you, in the same way that your dreams are in unity with you. It's a product of the soul. It is you. And you're going to suffer if you're going to be embodied as a stone. That's going to be even worse than being embodied as a pig or a wolf. The I, the essence of what we are, right now it's in association with the physical body, and we all look alike. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose. Even though hell is happening right now, but we don't see it. It's immaterial. We're now in the physical realm. But imagine now, if, let's say, my face is scarred. That will cause pain to me, for example. Now imagine you're a pig. That's going to even cause more pain for you. The I is in association with a pig. It's you. This physical body isn't, although I won't enter that argument because it may be difficult to explain, but then just imagine now you're in association with a stone in the semi-immaterial realm. That's going to be even worse. So that stone was thrown 70 years ago. And that Munafiq, all his actions, the embodiment of his actions was that of a stone. The stone never evolves. The stone is always the same. The Munafiq never evolved in spirituality. It's always the same. He was a Munafiq. But the question is, why was he in hell from 70 years ago? Why do you say he was in hell from birth? You see, at around 4 months gestation, 4 months, it's possible to be less than that, but 4 months is the canonical limit. At 4 months, the I, the immaterial self, arises and in association with that fetus, with the physical body. Although that the body is a subtle manifestation of the I, there was a soul even before 4 months. That soul kept on evolving. At 4 months it became a human soul. Now, from birth up to puberty, children, they don't have to. They have no duty upon themselves. Why? The Sharia gives no duty to children. In their eating, doing various actions, it may be haram, but it's not haram for them. That's not to say for them to put them free to do all these things. I'm saying from a canonical standpoint. But if they don't do salat, for example, it's not haram. After puberty, yes, then duty arises. Why? What's happening here? Before puberty and after puberty. From birth, we all have, you see, the spirit is one reality. It's one thing. It's the I. We don't know what this I is, but we know manifestations of this I. We even say my spirit, my mind, my body, my thoughts. I am, let's say, 40 years old. I am 70 kilograms. I am this, that, and the other. We don't know what that I is. Depending on the actions of the I, its spiritual status quo, there are certain names given to it. One of them is the Nafsul Ammara Bisu. It's that which drives you towards evil actions. From birth, we all have that nafs, is predominant in every child. And they are in hell, but it's harmless. That hell is harmless. It's no threat to them. Do you know sometimes when children do something, you say, oh, you little devil, for example. It's harmless. But we all start with nafsul ammara. After puberty, we have to grow out of it. Before puberty, it's harmless. We're in hell. But it's a harmless thing. It's not something drastic or anything. Something very neutral. But this munafiq, even after puberty, he continued in being in hell. Worse and worse and worse. So it was as if He was always in hell. But before puberty, that's not very important. But after puberty, his attitude was always a munafiq. And that's what it means when he was created in hell. He was always in hell since he was created or procreated. So this hell is not something physical. The stone which they heard wasn't a physical stone. The Holy Prophet allowed them, with his wilayatul takwini, for them to see the route and passage of this man's actions for 70 years. You've all seen the traditions where Imam Sajjad, with his wilaya, allowed the man to see the true status of the Hajjis. And he's telling you the Barzakh realities of everyone. Wilayatul takwini is something, it's possible. It's nothing to be scared of. Some people have this power. Some people don't and pretend they have it. But the Imams, they had it. Just on the margin here, this concept of tawassul, it shouldn't be blown out of proportion. You see, first of all, there's no need to get to panic or be scared of these. If someone has another understanding and your understanding differs, it's okay. We're all living together. We're all brothers and sisters. There's no need to, separate from one another because of just these understandings. When a marja has one understanding of what happened with Lady Fatima alayhi salam, there's no need to attack that marja. The marja has lived a blissful life much more than me and you. He's put more effort for Islam much more than me and you. Now he has this understanding. There's no need to attack them. But very briefly, with this tawassul, although I'm going off the point, just one point though. The Allah that we're worshipping isn't a real thing. It's a mental construct of ours. If we worship the real Allah, it would be impossible to sin. Impossible. But we're not worshipping the real Allah. Some people do. Subhanallah amma yasifun. Immaculate is Allah from what they describe to Him, because they're not seeing the real thing. Illa ibadallah al-mukhlasin. The mukhlasin see the real thing, not with the physical eye. They're in unity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Me and you know. So some people say, why do we have to go through the go to Allah directly? You're right. They're right when they say that. We're not in contact with the real thing. If someone was in contact with the real thing, became mukhlas, yes, there would be no need. Or there would be a lesser need. But the whole point is that Allah, it's something we've made up. It's acceptable before Allah. It's like sometimes I speak concepts, saying, imagine a lion. It's very big, it's very hungry. Everyone is just seated there. Because it's not the real lion that you're seeing. Now you imagine you see a real lion here, we'll all run out. It's impossible to stay there. It's impossible to sin if you are in unity with Allah, seeing Him. Our Allah, it's at best a philosophical Allah with some concepts we've come to this. It's okay, that's accepted by Allah too. But we want to see the real thing. We can't do it ourselves, we go through others. It's okay, it doesn't matter. But if you, alhamdulillah, reach that status, yes, you're independent. When you're with Allah, why do you need others? You're with Allah now directly. So this tradition, the Sirat, Imam Khomeini wrote a letter to his daughter-in-law. He gave this same tradition that I just read again about the stone. And then in the letter, Imam writes to the daughter-in-law, he says, the Sirat is right here in this world. And you're building it from action to action. You see? It's a dimension of the soul. Then we speak of heaven and hell. I'll just give one or two things then. Where is heaven and hell? Is it a place? Is it physical or not? Can it be acquired before physical death? See, heaven and hell also. dimension of the soul. Tajassumul a'mal. Now you imagine hell is a physical place. It's a red monster, burning, whipping. Now, why does Allah have to punish? And then you say, no, we want to take you to heaven. I don't want to go to heaven. Just don't give me this physical burning. But sometimes your own actions are burning you. Your own deeds are putting you in hell. That's your own fault. Don't bring Allah into the equation. Is it physical or not? The theologians say it's going to be physical, heaven and hell. The Urafah say no. They say it's this body which will go to heaven or hell. Body. But it's not physical. Whatever is bodily, it doesn't mean it's physical. I'll just give one small example. H2O is a formula. In one temperature, let's say room temperature, it's liquid. In another realm of temperature, it becomes ice. It's the same H2O though. The body is a substance. It's not physical. The I is always in association with the body. That body in this physical realm becomes physical. The same body which was physical in this realm, when it goes to an immaterial realm, the same body becomes immaterial. It is the same body, but it's not physical though. It's different. When we say a bodily mi'raj, a bodily heaven or hell, it doesn't mean a physical one. These are two different things. In your dreams, you see yourself eating, drinking, but there's no physical water there. There's no physical eating there. There's no physical matter in your dreams, but there are many bodies there. And you can enjoy from different things, and you can suffer. Two quick traditions. Once Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam was returning from a war with his companions, and he saw a skull at the end of the road and told one of the companions to bring the skull. He brought the skull in his hands and said, "Who are you?" Now this is the bone, now it's decomposed and it's half there. Then a voice was heard. The companions heard it. If me and you were there, we may not have heard it. It wasn't a physical, with this ear, it wasn't heard. Now this is speaking, but the skull isn't moving though. He said, "I am," and he gave the name, "one of the kings of Persia. To get into power, I had to kill this many people, that many people, do this action, that action. Right now I am in hell." Now the body is in the hands of Amir al-Mu'minin, the physical body. It's right now I'm in hell. Moment to moment the scorpions are biting me. See, he's in hell right now. After death it all starts. In another tradition, with the earlier prophets, there was no such thing as dreaming once upon a time. And the Prophet at that time would explain to the people about heaven and hell. No one would accept it and they would reject it. And then they started to dream. And since it was a new phenomenon, they went to the Prophet of the time, said, they explained things. It wasn't physical, but we saw ourselves and there was a fire, there was this. And the Prophet said, "This is the hereafter." It's an indicator of what the hereafter will be like. The hereafter, the rules governing the hereafter are different to the rules governing this physical realm. If that was going to be physical too, that's going to be a dunya. What's different about it then? But this is Yawmul Akhir. It's another realm, another manifestation. But it's not outside the soul. Man, the I, is an extended creature from the earthly dimension to meta-immaterial dimensions. And then the Mi'raj. Inshallah, the Mi'raj we'll speak about, inshallah, tomorrow. I'll speak about what the Mi'raj is. And even Tawheed, Raj'at, Messianism, all these, there are different concepts to it. I just want to go through one more tradition. First of all, it's narrated from Plato, although this may not be accurate on it, but he says, "La yakuno موحد موحدا ما لم يقل ألف صديق إنه زنديق." A true monotheist won't be a true monotheist until 1,000 of his friends say he's a denier of the truth. He's a